My question is to the Minister for Small Business. Minister, Tiny Good of Showtech, a rigging and lighting company that supports shows by international touring acts, ballet, opera, even musicals, employed 80 people but has now lost at least 8 employees who have left the events sector. Mr Good has said the Victorian State Government roadmap has made reopening for events before Christmas less likely. He's continued in his comments and said, "I love to know what event the Andrews government thinks it is going to open under the guidelines this side of Christmas, because you won't have indoor concerts, exhibitions, large-scale business meetings. So if by events they mean sporting events, then they need to get their heads read." So I ask you, Minister, on what date will events companies like Tiny Goods company Showtech be able to return to the events sector they love?
Minister, I will give you the chance, but I think it's for the sport minister, not small bit. But anyway, thank you. Minister.
Yeah, thank you, President. I thank Mr Davis for his question, and I will endeavour to answer this. But yes, a business with 80 employees probably exceeds just about any definition you can think of small business, but and the events sector is predominantly the responsibility of the Minister for Tourism and Major Events. But of course, I'm sure that Showtech involve themselves in smaller events as well. But I'll, in my capacity representing Minister Bakula, I'll endeavour to provide the best answer that I can. So there has been a whole lot of different sector-specific support programs in addition to the broader and more generally available programs for business support. Mr Davis's question was very much about the roadmap and Victoria's and the government and the public health team's delivery of the national plan to reopen the economy. Now, Mr Davis is asking for a precise date, and of course a precise date depends on the vaccine rollout speed, and I'm sure, like many other people in the chamber and in the community, we're reasonably obsessively checking the vax states on a daily basis. More than 90,000 people in Victoria, indeed an MCG's worth of people on many days in recent times, and the vax rollout now really has hit a great pace, which is a relief, and also it is exciting. So Moderna in pharmacies now, which is terrific. Programs to particularly target communities that have been a little slower than others to jump into the opportunities that present and roll out. And indeed, Mr Jepp and I share a border which takes in the magnificent community of Bull Oak. Now, I don't think they can lay claim to top of the league table. I think that's our old mates in Queenscliff. But the number of communities that have now hit 90% single dose, that are hitting starting to hit 70 and greater numbers double dose, gives us all great help, and everyone in the entire community is to be commended for the role that they're playing in getting the events industry reopen when we get to that 80% double dose rate. And so the roadmap foreshadows this as being on or around the 5th of November. I like to optimistically think we might beat that by a few days. The fact that the advice for spacing of Pfizer doses has now changed from 6 weeks to 3, gives me some hope that we might be able to do that sooner. And the roadmap provides for those...
Time, Minister. Thank you. Mr Davis on a supplementary.
I thank the Minister for her answer. The events sector, of course, is replete with so many small businesses, some of them extremely small businesses that have been hit very hard. And the Save Victorian Events Group, and Simon Thulis as the spokesperson, has said if the Victorian Government doesn't act quickly, very quickly, there will be very few events happening in Victoria until well into 2022. And I ask, given the large number of small businesses in the events sector, will the Minister meet with Mr Thulis this week to hear about his plan for an events-led recovery?
Minister Pulford.
Thank you. Now, as I was going to say before, I was defeated by the clock. There will be numbers depending on the settings in the hundreds at that phase in the roadmap at 80% or greater. And of course, all peak bodies that the government deals with and works with closely are well aware of these things. So entertainment venues will be able to have outdoor seated entertainment, will be able to have the lesser of 25% or 5,000 people fully vaccinated. Hospitality venues, which obviously cater for many different types of smaller events, will be able to have, and I'm looking at the roadmap here, I mean this is public, everybody should be well aware of these, will be able to have 150 outdoors and 150 indoors, subject to density quotients of 4 and 2 indoors and outdoors.
Thank you. Your time. Thank you.
Hasn't gone anywhere near answering the question of whether she'll meet.
Time finished.
that
Thank
group.
you.